issues that has just. Oh, thank you, Brian. Sorry, I was also going to let you know later on, but now you know that this meeting is being recorded. So hope you're all okay with that. And if you don't feel comfortable with having your camera on, you can always turn your camera off if that makes you feel uncomfortable with the recording. But any versions of the recording that we'll use will be focusing on the speaker view anyway, just so you know. But anyways, going back to our obstetric fistula and our focus for the webinar this evening, basically, obstetric fistula is a hugely neglected human rights issue that a lot of people really haven't heard of. And personally, I hadn't actually come across it until we started talking about it in our AFGN Ireland meetings and raising it as an issue that could do with more attention being brought to it and more action being taken in this area. So yeah, I don't know how many of you are coming here as people who are already quite familiar with the issue, or whether you're curious to find out more, or you don't really know that much. But wherever you're at, I hope that it will be really informative and interesting for you. And just to briefly explain what obstetric fistula is, it's predominantly a childbirth related injury, which is usually caused by obstructed or prolonged labour. And you may have heard recently, the 23rd of May was the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula. So we're kind of tying this campaign in with that International Day, and this webinar is trying to raise awareness with that of that. And there was also a campaign launched last Tuesday, which was basically the Safe Birth for All campaign, raising awareness about obstetric fistula, and we're tying in with that. So yeah, that's just a little overview of the purpose of this webinar, really. And now I'm just going to give you a brief outline of what we'll be looking at during the webinar. So first of all, we'll hear from Sister Bridget Corrigan and Sister Mary Delargy, who are going to bring a faith perspective to this issue, and they'll lead us in a time of prayer and reflection. Then we're going to hear from Dr. Shane Duffy, who's an obstetrician and gynecologist, and he'll share his experience of working with women who suffer from obstetric fistula. Then we're going to hear from Dr. Tony Pike, who works with AMRI, and she's going to share basically her campaign insights from a recent visit that she made to Angola. And she learned there about good practice in the prevention of obstetric fistula. So she'll share some of those insights with us, and also why obstetric fistula is a human rights issue. Then after that, we're going to hear a recording from Jennifer Philpott-Nissen, who can't be with us in person at this time, but she has prepared her session for us. And she is the Programme Executive for Human Rights and Disarmament with the World Council of Churches. And she'll be sharing with us about obstetric fistula and what it means to women in Africa in particular, and basically sharing about the whole campaign to raise awareness and to bring about change. After that, we're going to hear, well, not we're going to hear from, but we're going to have a little time of Q&A. So if you have any questions, I'd ask that you please pop them into the chat, and we'll save those for the end, where we'll have a Q&A. That will be led by Jerry Ford, who works with the SMA, the Society of African Missions, and also Jim Owens will be helping him. He's the OLA Justice Officer, so with the Our Lady of Apostles. And following that, to finish up, we're going to have a call to action. So Lara Kelly, who's the Justice Coordinator with the Dominican Sister, will share a call to action with us, and basically different ideas about what we can actually do to take action on this issue. And then Brian will close. And just to briefly mention in terms of housekeeping, Brian has already talked about the muting. So during the webinar, we're going to keep our microphones on mute unless we're speaking. So I hope that's okay with everybody. And yeah, looking forward to the rest of the webinar. Thank you all again for being here.